Hello, grade 2. Today's story is happening in Alaska. Okay, so here you see a map of North America. Okay, it's one of the continents. So North America is divided to 3 countries. We have Canada in the north, United States in the middle, and we have Mexico in the south. Okay, so as we all know that America consists of 52 states. Okay, so America is a country that is made up of 52 states. So we have 50 states all in the middle, and the other 2 states are Alaska up in the north next to Canada, and we also the other state is Hawaii, which is a group of islands in the middle of the Pacific. Okay, so today's story is happening in Alaska. All right, and the title of today's story is called Sled Dogs Run. Sled Dogs Run. Okay, so Alaska, as you saw on the other page on the map, Alaska is all the way up in the north near the near the Arctic region. So the climate there, or the weather, most of the time is also always very cold. Okay, so it has a lot of snow due to the cold weather. So, and there's a certain kind of animal that grows there known as the husky dogs. Okay, and these husky dogs are trained, or they are taught how to pull a sled. Okay, and today we'll be reading a story about this kind of activity that the people in Alaska do. So the title of our story is called Sled Dogs Run by Jonathan London. So the author's name is Jonathan London, and the illustrator is John Van Zyl. Let's start reading and see how the animals that live in Alaska adapt to the cold climate, and what do they do to survive. All right, on page 111, they were born in the spring, fat, tumbling puppy balls, full of fresh puppy smell and puppy life. So it starts by describing these small puppies. These dogs are born in spring. They're fat and they're like small balls, and they smell like puppies and full of life. On page 113, there was Skookum and Hawk and Bamboo. Here in Alaska, in the far north, Skookum means smart. See how Hawk and Bamboo chase him, but can't catch him, says Papa. He will be the leader. So this girl and her dad were watching the dogs, right? And the first one is called Skookum, which means smart, and the next one is called Hawk, and the third one is Bamboo. The girl's dad was telling them that Skookum will be the leader because he's the one leading them, and Hawk and Bamboo are following him and can't catch up with him. On page 115 and 14, now in summer the training begins. Sled dogs run. That's what they live for. To run and pull. So these husky dogs are born in spring, and in summer they start to train. What's the meaning of train? Train here means where people teach them how to do something. So this girl and her dad teach them how to pull sled. So they teach them how to run and to pull sled. Now in summer the training begins. Sled dogs run. That's what they live for. To run, to run and pull. So these sled dogs live to do 2 things: to run and to pull. What are they pulling? They're going to be pulling sleds. First, they wear a harness. To get used to it, First, they wear a harness to get used to it. Then they pull a small log, bouncing and skidding behind them. So when they first start to train or practice how to pull something, what do? Do they start with a sled? No. They wear something like a belt called a harness on their body. You see this red thing on the dog's body? This is called a harness. Okay? And then they practice pulling. But do they pull a sled? No. They attach it to a rope or a chain, pulling a log. A log is a part of a tree. So when do these dogs start to train? They start in summer. What do they do first? They practice wearing a harness. Okay, the harness is what they have on their body now. And when they start pulling logs. They don't start pulling the sled. They start pulling the log. In fall, they pull a cart for the first time. Okay, so here is a cart. Papa runs behind me. I call out, Skookum, Hawk, Bamboo, good dogs. For now, they run with older dogs. I can't wait till the first snow. All right, so these dogs practice and train before winter comes. They start their training in summer and by pulling a log. In fall, they start pulling their first cart. Okay, this is a cart, and then it changes into a sled later on. Okay, so the girl is practicing with her dogs. The dogs don't run by themselves first. They practice pulling the cart with older dogs so they can learn and follow the older dogs. So here we have the older dogs and then the younger puppies and the girls riding the cart. And who's following them? The girl's dad. Okay, it says, what do you think will happen at the first snow? So the girl's waiting for winter to come. So when it starts to snow, she will go on her first sled ride by herself. Okay, what do you think? What do you think will happen? Let's predict. The word predict means to guess or to think what will happen when the girl goes on her first sled ride. Okay, do you think she will be good? Do you think she will get lost? So the word predict means to think or to guess what will happen. On page 116. In the winter, the snow comes, white on white, as soft as owl's feather. I lie down in the softness and make a snow angel, but my dogs are eager to run. So the girl here is describing winter in Alaska. I told you it's all the way up in the north, so the weather there is very cold and snow starts early. Snow starts to fall early. In winter, the snow comes. She says everything is white, white on white, and the snow is so soft like an owl's feather. She's saying that the snow is so soft as the owl's feather. Okay, so here the girl is lying down on the snow and she's moving her arms up and down and her legs back and forth to make a snow angel. But she says that her dogs are eager to run. They really want to go and run in their first sled ride. And by February, they are ready to pull as a team, with me as a musher. My first solo run, Mama heats up a sloppy stew. The dogs must eat first before it freezes. Mama gives me a hug. You will love the quiet, she says, and the oneness with nature. You will love the speed, Papa says, and the sense of freedom. So winter's here. In February, there's a lot of snow, and it's the girl's first time taking her first sled ride. She will be the one leading them. So the leader of the run, when the dogs pull the sled, she will be the leader. That's called the musher. Okay, my first solo run. That solo means alone, because she's doing it by herself. It's her first time running with the dogs alone, and it's her first time. Okay, Mama heats up a sloppy stew. Mama makes food. The girl's mom makes food so the dogs can eat before it becomes very cold. So here it says, Mama gives me a hug. You will love the quietness. So before the girl goes on her run, her mom gives her a hug and tell her you enjoy the quietness of your ride. And Dad said you will love the speed because the dogs run so fast pulling the sled. She will feel like it's running so fast. And he tells her you will love the feeling, you will love the speed and the feeling of freedom. Remember we said the word sense means to feel. So Mom tells her that you will love the quietness and you will love being alone with nature. And Dad tells her you will love the quickness or the speed and you will love the feeling of feeling free. On page 118, when I come with the harnesses, the dogs go crazy. They run in circles, howling and crying and yipping with joy. So as the dogs see the girl, they are excited. They know they're going to go on their run. So what do? When they see her with the harness, this is the harness that they wear because they know that they're going to go for a ride. What do? She says they go crazy. They run in circles. Howling means the sound. They say, oh, the sound that those dogs make. And they're crying and yipping with joy. They're so excited and eager to go on their run. Okay, hitched to the gang line. They are raring to go. Mama says, be back by dark. In the north, in the winter, dark comes early. Papa says, trust the dogs. They will know the way. Okay, so here the girl is taking the harness and she's going to her dogs to take her first run. Of course, the dogs are so eager and excited and they're jumping up and down and making sounds to show that they're happy. Okay, so she attaches the harness with the rope and the sled. Okay, she attaches them all together and her mom says you have to be back by dark before it gets dark. In the north, especially up in the north in Alaska, the day finishes early. So at nighttime, it starts to get dark at an early time. And Dad or Papa says, trust the dogs. He tells her, whatever happens, trust the dog. The dogs will know the way. On page 119, I pull the snow hook and shout, hike! The sled feels like it's leaving the ground. Whoosh, we're off. The dogs straining, tugging, running out before me, huffing and puffing of breath. We are racing cloud shadows. We are racing a snowy owl. We are racing the wind. So now the girl has prepared and she's starting to do her run. When she shouts hike, they know that they can start running and pulling the sled. Okay, all of a sudden she feels that the speed is going fast. Okay, she says, whoosh, we're off, and the dogs straining, the dogs are running and tugging, and they're pulling and breathing with a loud voice. She feels like they're racing the shadow of the clouds, and they're racing snowy owls, and they're racing the wind. She's describing how it feels while she's on the sled. Okay, she feels like they're moving so fast. Here's just words to describe how she feels. Okay, here she's saying that she feels like she's racing so many things because they're going so fast. On page 121, we spook a snowshoe hare and fly after it. The sled whips, the runner shh, the collars and snaps jingle. Hare disappears into white. So while they're on their run, they find a snowshoe hare. Hare is a word. It's in like it means a rabbit. Okay, so they see a snowshoe hare. A hare is a white snow. It's a white rabbit that lives in the snow. Here is a picture of it. You cannot really see because it's white like the snow. Okay, so while they're running so fast, they see a snowshoe hare, and they ran after it. Okay, all of a sudden, the rabbit disappears into the white. into the white means it disappears with the snow. Okay. On 122, the dogs smell moose and go after it. Moose stops and turns around, fire in her eyes. With one kick, a moose can cave in a rib cage. That's what Papa says. I yell, "How!" and my dogs swerve left, away from the moose. I yell, "Gee!" and my dogs swerve right, their keen noses scenting the trail. Okay, so while they're on their ride, first they see a snowshoe hare, a small white rabbit, but the rabbit disappears in the snow. Later on, while they're running very fast, the dogs start to smell something. What do they smell? They smell a moose. What is a moose? A moose is like a big deer, as you see here. A moose is like a big deer. Okay, so the girl doesn't want to hit the moose because they can all get hurt. The moose stops and turns around with fire in her eyes. With one kick, a moose can cave in a rib cage. So she's afraid that her dad told her a moose can give them a really quick, a really bad kick. So the girl starts to yell, "Haw!" That means the dog have to go left, away from the moose. And then when she yells "Gee," the dogs go right there, and they start smelling the trail. Okay, so the girl, while she was running, the dogs start to smell the moose, but she wants to stay away from the moose because the moose can hurt them. So she yells "Haw," where they all run left, far away from the moose. And then she yells "Gee," and then they go right, and they find their way on their path, the way that they're supposed to run. Okay? On page 125, I hear a howl. Is it the howl of wolves? The hair stands up on my dog's neck. All of a sudden, they hear a sound. Oh! And then she's asking herself, is that the sound of wolves? The hair of the dog start to stand. They're like scared. No, it is the howling wind blowing the snow sideways. I hang on to the sled handle for dear life. The storm is a hungry wolf eating up the light. Just as we hit a frozen lake, we are blinded. We are lost. Okay, so after they got out from the way of the moose, she starts hearing another sound. It sounds like the sound that wolves would make. But she said, no, that's not the sound of wolves. It's the sound of a snowstorm. You know, a snowstorm is when a lot of snow is falling and strong wind is blowing everywhere. So sometimes you hear a sound, the sound of the wind, right? So she's holding hard she's holding very hard so she doesn't fall from her sled. And the storm is very strong. Here it says the storm is a hungry wolf eating up the light. Just as we hit a frozen lake, we are blinded, we are lost. Here the girl is describing how strong the snowstorm is. She says she's holding on very hard into her sled, but the storm is like a hungry wolf trying to eat them up. So they go the wrong way and they fall into a frozen lake and they're lost. They got lost. What do you think will happen now? Okay, so it says here, what does the girl mean when she says they are blinded? Do you think that they're really blind? No. Here she means they got blinded from the strength of the snowstorm. There was so much snow and the wind was very strong, so she got confused. She got lost. Even the dogs, okay? So she got lost. She didn't know where to tell her dogs to go. On page 126, but I remember what Papa says, trust the dogs. They will know the way. The dogs are my eyes. So here now they got stuck. They went the wrong way from the snowstorm, and the girl got lost. But she remembered something that her dad said. Her dad said, remember, you have to trust the dogs because they know the ways. Through the snow-blind world we drive. All I hear is the howl of the wind and the boom of the lake ice shifting. Skookum, hawk, bamboo, take me home. Okay, so now she's shouting at her dogs. The leader, Skookum, and Hawk and Bamboo, and she's telling them, take me home, because she knows that they know the way home. On page 127, suddenly the wind dies to a whisper, and the air clears like a clean window. Woo! I call. We come to a stop. Good dogs, good team. The sun is down and the full moon is rising, tipping its golden light. When my dogs stop panting, there's a silence as quiet as an owl's breath.
Hello.
Okay, so when she shouted and told her dogs, take me home, okay, all of a sudden, the wind starts to die. It starts to calm down. The wind starts to stop. And the air is starting to clear. So the suddenly, the storm started to end. So the wind started to calm down, and the snow stopped to fall. All right? She was like, whew. She was so happy that it stopped. And then she told her dogs, good team. Now the sun is going down. It's starting to get darker, and the moon is going up. And then she waited for the dogs to stop panting. Here, the dog panting means the dog they've been running. So she's waiting for them to take their breath. And then when they stop, she hears a silence. And the silence was as quiet as the owl's breath. Here she's describing everything. She is describing the quietness when the dog stopped breathing. She's describing the strong wind as like a hungry owl. Okay? On page 129. Then I see, beyond the long blue shadows of the spruce, lights, our cabin in the woods, home, and we become a part of the night and the moon and the snow and the trees, and we run. Skookum, hawk, bamboo, hike. We run to keep up with our hearts. Okay, so all of a sudden, she sees the long blue shadows of lights. She sees her home. Her dogs were able to take her home. Okay, so this is how the story ended. Okay, this is a plot. Okay, this is the plot of the story. Remember, I said in yesterday's story that a plot is a chart where we write the sequence of a story. The sequence of a story has a beginning, middle, and end. Okay, so what happened in the beginning of the story? The puppies are born in spring. Okay, and we also said that the puppies start to train in summer, right? Yeah, the puppies start to train in summer and fall, and their first run was in winter. Okay, what happened in the middle of the story? The girl and the sled dogs go off on a solo run. So when winter came in February, the girl the girl and the sled dogs go off on a solo run. They get to run for the first time by themselves. While they were on their first run, they got lost because of the snowstorm. At the end, she remembered what her dad told her. Her dad told her, trust the dogs. And the dogs took her home. The girl and the sled dogs find their way home after the storm. Okay, so this is the plot. What happened in the beginning of the story, middle, and end. Okay, and as we said, that this story is a realistic fiction because it's a made-up story, and the characters are also made up. So the story is not a real story, and the characters are not real. But the events, all these events, can happen in real life. This is an activity or a sport that happens in Alaska, and Alaska is a real place. So all these things can happen in real life, especially in Alaska. Okay, so the author probably saw something like this went to Alaska and saw this kind of activity and started writing a story from seeing something like this. So a realistic fiction is a made up story with made up characters, but the events could happen in real life. Okay? See you guys next time.